They say knowledge is power, but some knowledge is considered too powerful, too dangerous, or too inconvenient. Throughout history, governments, corporations, and even scientists have kept discoveries under wraps, fearing the ripple effects they could have on society. Some of these truths leak out in whispers, others explode into the public view only to be buried again in distraction and doubt. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 astonishing discoveries that you were never meant to know. Each one challenges how you see the world and might even change your beliefs forever. 1. The ancient batteries of Baghdad. It all started in 1938 when Wilhelm Koenig, a German archaeologist working in Iraq, stumbled upon something bizarre near Baghdad. Among the remains of the ancient Parthian civilization, he found clay jars sealed with asphalt, each containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod. At first, they looked like strange storage containers, but their configuration matched that of a simple galvanic battery. Wait, batteries? From 2,000 years ago? Koenig proposed that these could have been used for electroplating gold onto silver, or even for medical experimentation. But instead of excitement, his theory was dismissed as impossible. Why? Because it challenged the timeline of technological development. If true, it meant ancient civilizations had electrical knowledge long before Benjamin Franklin flew his kite. The so-called Baghdad Battery now sits quietly in a museum, labeled with a question mark, while mainstream history textbooks remain unchanged. To this day, no one has officially explained how such knowledge was lost, or who tried to bury it. 2. Operation Paperclip and the Hidden Science of War. In the aftermath of World War II, the world celebrated the fall of Nazi Germany, but behind the scenes, something murkier unfolded. The United States secretly brought over more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, many of them former members of the Nazi Party, under a classified project known as Operation Paperclip. These men were given new identities, clean records, and high-ranking jobs in American military and aerospace programs. Among them was Wernher von Braun, the mastermind behind the V-2 rocket, who would later become the architect of NASA's Apollo missions. While Americans cheered the moon landing in 1969, few knew that much of the technology originated in Nazi laboratories using forced labor. But here's the kicker. Many of these scientists were accused of war crimes. So why did the US government sweep this under the rug? Because the Cold War had already begun, and in the race for supremacy, ethics took a back seat. The truth only surfaced decades later when declassified files confirmed what conspiracy theorists had long suspected. 3. The WOW signal, a message from the stars. August 15, 1977, a radio telescope at Ohio State University was scanning the skies when it captured something extraordinary. A narrow-band radio signal lasting 72 seconds, coming from the constellation Sagittarius. It was so striking that astronomer Jerry Amon circled it on the data printout and wrote one word next to it: WOW. To this day, the WOW signal remains the most tantalizing piece of evidence for intelligent extraterrestrial life. But here's what makes it strange. The signal was never detected again. The location was scanned multiple times, but nothing similar ever reappeared. Was it a cosmic fluke, a deliberate message, or something we were never meant to decode? What followed was even more curious. Government interest quietly increased, but no major investigations or funding were launched. NASA seemed to step away from SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence research, soon after. Theories swirled that higher-ups didn't want the public knowing just how real the alien possibility was. Whether it was an alien handshake or an echo from a civilization far beyond our reach, the WOW signal remains unexplained and suspiciously downplayed. 4. Mel's Hole, the bottomless pit. No one can explain. In the late 1990s, a man named Mel Waters called into a radio show claiming something unbelievable. On his rural property in Washington state, he said, was a mysterious hole, 9 feet wide, perfectly round, and impossibly deep. He had never found the bottom, even after dropping fishing line down several thousands of feet. More chillingly, he claimed that strange things happened near the hole. Animals avoided it. Radios picked up bizarre signals nearby. And most shockingly, he once tossed a dead dog into the hole, only for it to later appear alive and wandering in the woods. Crazy, right? That's what many thought, until the story got darker. According to Waters, soon after his calls went viral, government agents arrived at his property, seized the land, and forced him to leave the country. Satellite images of the area were scrubbed, and his story slowly disappeared from mainstream media. Was it a hoax? Maybe? But if it was just a prank, why did something so strange trigger such an aggressive response? To this day, the exact location of Mel's hole remains unconfirmed. But believers, and even some geologists, continue to hunt for bottomless pits and government secrets buried beneath our feet. 5. The Black Knight Satellite, alien spy, or space junk? Since the late 1950s, amateur astronomers and conspiracy theorists alike have pointed their telescopes towards something strange orbiting Earth, a dark, irregular object that doesn't belong to any known satellite system. Dubbed the Black Knight Satellite, this object has been photographed and tracked, yet officially ignored by NASA. Some claim it's an alien probe that's been monitoring Earth for over 13,000 years. Others link it to ancient civilizations like the Egyptians or even Atlantis. In 1960, the U.S. Department of Defense briefly acknowledged an unidentified object in polar orbit, something no country was capable of at the time, but then backtracked. Photographs taken by space shuttles in the 90s added fuel to the fire. NASA called them thermal blankets that had floated away. But many weren't convinced. The object looked too large, too structured. So why won't the government investigate it openly? Perhaps because the implications are too massive. If there's a non-human presence observing us, the public response could trigger panic, or a massive shift in belief systems. The Black Knight remains there, floating silently, as if waiting for us to pay attention. These 5 stories all share something in common. The silence around them is louder than the discoveries themselves. Whether it's ancient technology, extraterrestrial signals, or science born in the shadows of war, these findings have been ignored, buried, or explained away, not necessarily because they're false, but because the truth might be too disruptive. The world runs on certain assumptions, and shattering them can be dangerous. But the truth has a habit of slipping through the cracks. The more we question, the more we discover. And the more we discover, the more we realize how little we truly know. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.